Hi there, welcome to the weekly Because session. So, the last session of the day, but probably the most important one as well. If you're new to these sessions, these are the key areas I'll focus on, and they're based on two main concepts. Also, these sessions are not financial advice, they're for education and research purpose, and also discussion with the online community here. So, please take note. Let's begin with Bitcoin. So, the blue, yellow, orange, purple, they're all Wyckoff stages or milestone tags. And last week we already talked about we came down from a second test after a first. If the blue scenario hold true, so far it still looks like that. The yellow could be a different scenario, but we'll not cover that for now. So you talk about the price probably would stay between. Let's make it easier to talk about. Let's change this to orange then. Yeah, between the orange line and the green line, and it pretty much did. It's a very narrow range movement we see this week, and the volume is a little bit higher than last week, but still lower than earlier, like in late Jan and beginning of this month. So in terms of Wyckoff, there may be a chance if anything happens, depending on how people sell the news. If a new war broke out or some geopolitical risk events happen, maybe worsen or improves. Likewise for economic events, if people sell that as a good news, then it may be able to have a bounce above the green line, setting an upward of the distribution, and also another new all-time high for Bitcoin before returning to another lower level. If there are no particular good news and people like have reasons to sell, maybe they need money for something, and the price could test this orange line, but at this level at around 90,000 there would be some strong buyers, I would think, similar to what happened the last 3 weeks. So these long volume bars and like these price ranges, it's kind of telling us the story that the players in the market seems to think this current price level is a fair price, at least in the current time. What I'm trying to say, like, I'm trying to pick out the term from my brain. It's like the current point in time, let's put it this way. So this is a fair price for the current point in time for the major players. So whenever it tries to test a lower price, it got pushed back up. But when it reached a higher price near 100,000, it got pushed back down. So that's kind of formulating what we see over here. If there are no particularly strong demand and large players find it somewhere else to make money, obviously they will start to let the price drop, and then the orange and the green line is a weak level, I would say, because there's not much like overlapping trading activity between 70,000 to 90,000. So that 20,000 range is a high fluctuation range, I would say. This 20%, it's going to be wild within this range compared to what we have now. Right now we are, it's like a 15-16% from 90,000 to 100,000. Here would be more wild before we get to a zone where it's going to be relatively less violent. So it could happen this way. Let's go one level down and see what the daily chart is telling us. So again, the price stays pretty much within this short-term playground zone that started November last year, and the current price level is somewhat around the midway line. So sometimes it went above, sometimes it went below, but more or less it's around this level. That's why I said it's kind of like a fair price range or price point for majority of players. This is also the level defined like much earlier, so that's why people are like hovering around this price level before any particular news come out. And that's also why we don't see any particular candlestick pattern. It's like very fluctuating. You may be able to scout something. The 3 hours chart, you may be able to draw some flags here and there. Broke out, then we've got an upward flag, and then it broke downwards. It's kind of repeating for quite a while already, even though we see kind of flat pattern in the daily chart. But if we go to like more frequent time frame, you'll be able to find some patterns using the candlestick. And also, like if we look at this 3 hour chart, it seems there's like a higher low over here as well. But depending on how you draw the patterns, the reason why I'm a bit hesitant about shorter time frames is you really have to stay very close to it and draw both shorter and longer term, relatively longer term lines, or trying to spot the patterns, because it's not really not that suitable for everybody. So that's how it's going to look like for the coming few days. That's going to, again, within this pink box, it's not going to go as low as below the orange line around 90,000 unless there's a very good reason for people to dump it. Otherwise, like, it's going to stay between 90 to 100k. So that's what I see for Bitcoin, at least for the near term. So